It's almost a year to the day that I declared that the Seamaster 300M with the orange accents wasn't just a sign of the future of the 300M diver, it was the ultimate 300M diver. The perfect one. Was I right though? Hi everyone and welcome to Shaluso, and yes, I am back, we are back. It has been over a year since the last time I posted a video, so what better way than to come back with the last watch I talked about, the Seamaster 300M diver with the orange accents. Now at the time that I made my last video, it had just been announced, but now I've gotten hands-on with the watch. So we're going to explore whether I was actually right in some of my assumptions about it and whether my opinions have changed at all. The perfect modern Seamaster. Now a long time has passed. In some ways a lot has changed, in other ways not too much has changed. I have a bit more hair on my head, I have a different beard, but things are broadly the same. I'm still the same me. And a similar sort of thing happens with this Seamaster 300M diver. It is still very much a Seamaster. Still has the scalloped edge bezel, still has those twisted lugs. The DNA from the original Brosnan era one is still very much there. The case is 42 millimeters. That is the standard for the current generation of Seamaster 300Ms now. 300 meters water resistance, as the name suggests. Helium escape valve. This one has an open case back showing you Calibre 8806. So it's Co-Axial Master Chronometer certified, 55 hours of power reserve, and a silicone hairspring. Pretty standard as far as Omega goes, pretty packed with features as far as watches in this price point go. But let's dive right into what makes this particular watch different and special within the current lineup. First off, you have a no wave dial and an aluminum bezel instead of a ceramic one. So this is ripped straight from the No Time to Die, but in a less stylized setup compared to that watch. The one that I'm talking about today was fitted to a rubber strap. And what really sets this watch apart, the orange hour markers and the orange hand. And this right away addresses one of the things that I thought maybe would be a downside or a negative when I talked about this watch at its release. I thought that maybe these orange hour markers would have been, I don't know, just a little bit cheesy, a little bit Halloween-y perhaps. But when you see the watch in the metal, you see they're much more discreet. They're just the pop of color that you need and want to see, but not something that's overbearing. Meanwhile, the orange hand, I think, looks amazing. It really, really stands out. The same with the Seamaster text, and with the rubber strap, I think it looks even better. Of course, if you put this on a black rubber strap, for example, it would tone the whole thing down, and that's where those little shocks of orange really make the bigger difference. On any watch, having a little bit of color, even if it's a monochromatic watch, it just makes it more interesting. If you look at something like the Daytona, that red Daytona script jumps out to you right away, and this has carried out the same trick. And one other thing that I'm really beginning to appreciate, especially as I interact a lot more with older watches, the aluminum bezel, it works so well. The texture of it plays really nicely with the texture of the dial. The sapphire crystal is domed just enough that it meets that sort of vintage aspect, but it doesn't look as stylized as the No Time to Die. It all just kind of works. So far everything is looking pretty good. Downsides, well, this example on the orange strap I think looks really cool. I think on a black rubber strap it would look great. Where I don't think it would land as well is actually on the Milanese strap. A lot of people really like Omega's current Milanese strap. It's way less divisive than the standard Seamaster 300M strap, though I still believe that this watch would look pretty cool on it. But I think that somehow this watch looks too modern to have the Milanese strap. It just doesn't play right. If you compare it to the No Time to Die, which, as I've said plenty of times already, is a lot more stylized, it's meant to look a bit more weathered and old school. With the matte titanium, the Milanese strap works. On this, however, I actually think that the rubber strap is the real winner, and especially the bright orange one, because it really makes this watch stand out. And if you're looking for something that's really got its own personality within your collection, then this is definitely something to go for. But is this the future of the Seamaster 300M? Honestly, I think yeah. Historically, the 300M has always had generations to it. You had the first era, which was the wave dial. It started out with the quartz on Pierce Brosnan's wrist in the 90s. Then they graduated to the second generation, the one that I used to have, which was no waves, ceramic bezel, still with the Calibre 2500, but definitely a step away from what they had in the 90s, the different bezel and different dial. Then, of course, you had the third generation, 2018. They introduced essentially a mishmash of those first two generations. You had a ceramic dial and ceramic bezel, but the dial had laser etched waves. So that was kind of the third generation. This, however, really has been kind of snuck in under the radar. They progressively made their way to this configuration of no waves, Milanese bracelet, aluminum bezel. And if you look at Omega's catalog, you can see that this fourth generation or generation 3.5 is really starting to dominate the catalog. Pretty much every year there's a new Seamaster that's kind of following that look and feel. And that is to say no date, in most cases no waves, aluminum bezels, Milanese bracelets. So this definitely does feel like it is the future of the Seamaster 300M. I think what I consider to be the third generation, the one released in 2018, I think that is being phased out. But as for this being the ultimate Seamaster, I don't know, it's hard to tell. I do think that a Seamaster has to have that iconic Seamaster 300M bracelet. Maybe that's me wanting to hold on to the past. But I think it is an iconic part of the design as much as the bezel design, as much as the sword hands, as much as the helium escape valve. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the Diver 300M with the orange accents, especially now that it's been with us for a while? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Of course, if you like this video, then make sure you like it and share it. If you want to see more videos about watches, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button as well, so you know when I put up a new video, because now I'm back and there will be more coming soon. But thanks for joining me on this video about the Diver 300M with the orange accents, and we'll catch you on the next one.